Plymouth tonight, -2 degrees Celsius. Aberdeen 5 degrees. Cornwall colder than the Scottish Highlands. Is your area about to face the most significant temperature reversal we've seen this winter? Right now, the Met Office has amber warnings covering 17 counties across southern England and Wales, affecting nearly 12 million people. Over the next 14 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly when this Arctic plunge arrives in your specific location, which areas might see the heaviest snowfall, and crucially, what tomorrow's model updates could change about this forecast. Drop your city or county in the comments right now, and I'll personally respond with your localized outlook in tomorrow's video. London, you are looking at temperatures dropping from 8 degrees today to -1 by Thursday morning. Manchester, currently 6 degrees, plummeting to -3 overnight Wednesday. Birmingham drops from 7 to 0. Glasgow, interestingly, staying relatively mild at 4 degrees, while southern England freezes. Cardiff sees temperatures crash from 9 degrees today to -2 by Thursday. Belfast holds at 3 degrees through the week. Now here's what the latest model runs are showing, and there is still some uncertainty about the exact track of this system. The Met Office Unified model has the main low-pressure system tracking across southern England Wednesday evening, bringing significant snowfall to the southeast. However, the European model, the ECMWF, suggests a path 50 kilometres further south, which would dramatically change accumulations for Kent, Sussex and Surrey. This difference matters because we're talking about the distinction between light dustings and potential 20-centimetre accumulations in some areas. We'll have a clearer picture tomorrow morning when the overnight model runs complete. Let me walk you through the timeline region by region, and I'm going to vary the format here because different areas face very different scenarios. For those of you in the southwest, Exeter and Plymouth, the cold arrives early Wednesday morning around 4 o'clock. You will wake up to temperatures near zero. But your main concern isn't just the temperature. It's the combination of that cold air meeting moisture coming up from the Atlantic. Bristol, you are in a similar situation with freezing rain possible Wednesday morning commute between 6 and 9 o'clock. This could create treacherous conditions on the M4 and M5 corridors. Moving across to the southeast, and this is where things get rather interesting. Brighton, Dover and Canterbury. Currently the models are showing you RE on the knife edge of the snow zone. The Met Office has you down for heavy snow Wednesday afternoon, accumulations possibly reaching 15 centimetres by Thursday morning. The European model is less convinced, showing mostly rain with brief snow showers. Actually, let me be more precise about that. The ECMWF is showing the rain-snow line hovering right along the coast, which means locations just 10 miles apart could see completely different conditions. London, your snow window looks like Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock through to Thursday morning around 6 o'clock. The heaviest bursts likely between midnight and 3 o'clock. Accumulations across the capital could range anywhere from 5 to 15 centimetres, with the northern suburbs potentially seeing the higher amounts. But here is what nobody is talking about. The temperature doesn't just drop and stay there. Thursday afternoon brings a brief warming, which means that snow could turn to slush rapidly, then refreeze Thursday night as temperatures crash again to -3. That freeze-thaw cycle is what catches people out. Now, before we move further north, there's one detail that concerns me most about this forecast, and I'll get to that in about 3 minutes. First, let me cover the Midlands and East Anglia. Cambridge, Norwich and Ipswich, you are looking at snow arriving slightly earlier than London, possibly by Wednesday lunchtime. The eastern counties often get overlooked in these setups, but you could see sustained snowfall for 12 to 18 hours. Nottingham and Leicester, you are in a transitional zone. The models are currently split on whether you see mainly rain or mainly snow. Do check back tomorrow because that 50-kilometre difference in the low track makes all the difference for your area. Sheffield and Leeds, here's your situation. The Pennines will act as a barrier, and depending on which side you are on, you'll see very different weather. Western slopes could see heavy snow Wednesday night, whilst eastern areas remain drier. York, you are sheltered somewhat, but still expecting 5 to 10 centimetres Wednesday evening. Newcastle in the northeast, you actually missed the worst of this system. Light snow showers Wednesday, but nothing particularly significant. Your main issue is the bitter northerly wind Thursday and Friday, making it feel like -7 or -8 degrees. Right, I need to pause here for those of you watching. If you haven't already dropped your location in the comments, please do so now. I am genuinely interested in helping you prepare for what is coming. And tomorrow's video will include personalized responses. The situation is evolving, and what I'm telling you now is based on the midday model runs. Tonight's updates could shift things considerably. Let us move to Wales. Swansea and Cardiff on the south coast, you are looking at a messy mix. Rain transitions to snow Wednesday evening, but coastal locations will struggle to accumulate much due to the maritime influence. However, Brecon and the valleys, 15 to 20 kilometres inland, that S where snow accumulations could be substantial, 20 to 30 centimetres possible in elevated areas above 300 metres. Bangor and North Wales, you re on the periphery of this system. Mainly dry but bitterly cold, with temperatures Wednesday night dropping to -4 degrees. Scotland presents a fascinating setup. Edinburgh currently at 6 degrees. You will actually feel the cold less dramatically than southern England because you are not experiencing the same temperature crash. Glasgow, similar story. Your temperatures Wednesday hover around 3 or 4 degrees. But here's where it gets interesting for Scotland. Aberdeen and Inverness, while southern England battles snow, you are looking at relatively settled conditions. The blocking high over Scandinavia keeps you dry but cold. Aberdeen Wednesday night -1 degree but dry. Inverness 0 degrees, clear skies. The Scottish Highlands, though, that is a different matter entirely. Aviemore and the Cairngorms could see significant snowfall Thursday and Friday as a secondary system moves in from the north. This isn't to the main event affecting England and Wales. This is a separate feature, and ski resorts will be rather pleased about it. Northern Ireland, Belfast and Derry, you are in a relatively benign pattern compared to what is happening across the Irish Sea. Temperatures Wednesday around 3 degrees, light rain or sleet possible, but nothing particularly disruptive. The main Atlantic depression passes well to your south. Now let me address the one thing I mentioned earlier, the compounding factor that makes this forecast particularly concerning for southern England. It's not just the snow, it's the timing. Wednesday evening rush hour, we are talking about heavy snow beginning right as millions of people are trying to get home from work. London transport in particular is vulnerable. The tube can handle cold, but surface transport, buses, the overground, these systems struggle with even modest snowfall. And we're not talking modest here. We were potentially talking 10 to 15 centimetres falling during a 4 to 6 hour window across the evening commute. The M25, M1, M4, M40, all the major motorways around London could see significant disruption. The Met Office is likely to escalate warnings from yellow to amber for transport impacts. This isn't 1879 or 1963 style snowfall, but in modern Britain, it doesn't take much to cause chaos. 10 centimetres is enough. Let me talk about what happens after the snow. Thursday brings a brief lull, but temperatures remain below freezing across most of England and Wales. Any snow that falls Wednesday stays frozen. Thursday night, we're re-looking at widespread hard frost. -5 degrees possible in rural areas, -2 or -3 even in city centres. Friday morning will be treacherous. Black ice everywhere. Then Friday afternoon brings another system, and this is where the models really diverge. The Met Office suggests this second low-pressure tracks across northern England, bringing another round of snow to the Midlands and north. The GFS American model has it further south, impacting the southeast again. The European model shows it weaker and less organised. Honestly, at this range, 5 days out, it's too early to say with confidence. What we can say is that the cold air mass remains in place through the weekend. Southampton, Portsmouth, and the South Coast, let me address your specific situation because it's complicated. You rewrite on the boundary. Sea temperatures around 9 or 10 degrees mean coastal areas will struggle to see settling snow, but drift inland just 5 or 10 kilometres and accumulations become likely. Winchester could see 10 centimetres while Southampton sees mainly rain. It's that marginal. Oxford, Reading and the Thames Valley, you are firmly in the snow zone. Wednesday evening through Thursday morning, expect sustained snowfall. The universities might want to consider remote lectures Thursday. Swindon and Cheltenham, similar outlook. Moving to the southwest peninsula, Penzance and Land's End, you are the warmest spots in the entire country this week, relatively speaking. Wednesday, you will still be at 6 or 7 degrees whilst the rest of England freezes. But don't let that fool you. You are getting the Atlantic moisture, which means heavy rain, 50 to 80 millimetres possible Wednesday through Friday. Flood warnings likely for Devon and Cornwall river catchments, Bournemouth, Poole and the Dorset coast. You're in that awkward transitional zone I mentioned. The rain-snow line wobbles right across your area. Could go either way. Tomorrow's models should clarify. Liverpool and the Merseyside area, here's your forecast. The main system Wednesday clips your southern edge, so you will see some snow, but the bulk of the precipitation stays south. Thursday and Friday, you are dealing with the bitter northerly wind more than active weather. Feels like temperatures of -6 or -7 degrees. Blackpool and the Lancashire coast, similar story. Derby, Stoke, and the Midlands pottery towns, you are right in the uncertainty zone. I know that's frustrating, but I'd rather be honest about the model disagreement than give you false confidence. The 50-kilometre shift in the low track is critical for you. Check back tomorrow. The Channel Islands, Jersey, and Guernsey, actually missing this entirely. The low tracks north of you, breezy, relatively mild bit of rain, you are fine. Isle of Wight, on the southern edge of the snow shield. Newport might see brief snow Wednesday evening, but coastal areas likely stay as rain. Cows and Ride, probably too mild. Let me address the models more technically for those of you interested in the meteorology. The Met Office Unified model at 0600 UTC this morning showed a 992 millibar low pressure centre crossing Kent at 1800 hours Wednesday. The ECMWF at the same initialization time showed 996 millibars crossing Sussex. That 4 millibar difference and the 50-kilometre southward shift represents a fundamentally different forecast for London and the southeast. The GFS has been consistently north with this feature, closer to the Met Office solution. What causes these differences? It comes down to how the models handle the interaction between the polar jet stream and a cut-off upper low pressure system approaching from the Atlantic. The exact phasing of these features determines the surface low track. Hang on, let me check that again. Actually, I should be more precise. It's not just phasing. It is also the strength of the blocking high over Scandinavia. If that high is stronger, it forces the low further south. If it weakens, the low tracks north. The models have different solutions for that highest intensity. This is why ensemble forecasting matters. Instead of one deterministic forecast, we run the model dozens of times with slightly different starting conditions. The Met Office ensemble, the MOGREP system, shows considerable spread in the low track. About 40% of ensemble members take it across southern England, 50% across the Channel, 10% further north across the Midlands. That tells us confidence is limited. For those of you in Scotland, the Orkney and Shetland Islands, you are dealing with a separate pattern entirely. Arctic maritime air flows south Thursday and Friday, bringing snow showers, particularly to northern and western coasts. Lerwick could see 5 to 10 centimetres accumulating from showers by Friday. Kirkwall, similar. These aren't associated with the southern England system, different mechanism entirely. Now, I want to pivot slightly to the longer range because whilst Wednesday through Friday dominates the headlines, the following week matters too. Current indications, and this is very tentative, suggest the cold pool remains over the UK into early next week. Monday and Tuesday could bring further snow showers, particularly to eastern England as winds turn easterly off the North Sea. But the models are all over the place beyond day 7, so I'm not going to speculate too much. We'll cover that more thoroughly once we read through this first event. For farmers and rural communities, this cold snap has implications. Ground frost penetrating deeper than we've seen all winter. Livestock will need extra attention. Water troughs freezing. Lambing season is approaching in a few weeks, and if this cold persists, it'll delay things. The energy sector will see demand spike. National Grid is well prepared, but domestic heating bills will climb as people crank up thermostats. If you haven't already, checking your boiler and ensuring pipes are insulated would be sensible. Transport disruption I've mentioned, but it's worth emphasizing. Wednesday evening, if you don't need to travel, don tea. Thursday morning, conditions will be difficult. Friday, improving slightly, but still challenging. Right, I am at about 12 minutes here, and I want to remind you one final time. Comment below with your location. Tomorrow S-Video will have specific updates, and the overnight model runs will give us much better clarity on that critical low track. I genuinely want to help you prepare properly. Let me recap briefly where we are. Southern England and Wales face significant snow Wednesday evening into Thursday. 10 to 20 centimetres possible in the most affected areas. Northern England and Scotland see less from this system, but face bitter cold. The uncertainty centres on that exact low track, which determines who sees the heaviest snow. Models should converge overnight. I'll acknowledge what we all know. Weather forecasting beyond 48 hours involves uncertainty. I've tried to be honest about where confidence is high and where it's limited. What I can tell you with confidence is that cold air arrives. The disagreement is about precipitation timing and intensity. Tomorrow S-Video, uploading at 6 o'clock in the evening, will have updated model analysis and regional breakdowns based on your comments. I am particularly interested in hearing from anyone in Kent, Surrey, Sussex and Essex, because you are right on that crucial boundary. One thing I haven't mentioned yet, but will tease for tomorrow. There's a possibility, still low probability but increasing, of thundersnow Wednesday night across the southeast. The Met Office model showed convective cells embedded in the snow bands in this morning's run. If that verifies, we could see brief periods of extremely heavy snow rates 5 centimetres per hour with lightning. I'll explore that more tomorrow once we see if the models maintain that signal. Thank you for watching. I know weather forecasts can be frustrating when there's uncertainty, but I'd rather give you the honest picture than false certainty. Please do leave your location below. I read every comment, and tomorrow I'll respond to as many as possible with specific localized outlooks. The situation is dynamic. It's evolving. Check back tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock for the updated forecast. Stay safe, prepare sensibly, and let us hope the models trend towards the less severe solutions. But plan for the worst scenarios, particularly if you are in southern England. Take care.